you're so sad? You've got a roof over your head.
Bro, you gotta stop with that depression stuff. That's a white people thing.
Escúchame, en esta casa los hombres no lloran.
You alright?
It just feels like it's coming from everywhere.
Do you want to talk about it?
Thanks for hearing me out, bro. Appreciate it.
You can talk to me if you're feeling sad.
Whenever you need to talk, I'm here, okay?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another night of iRacing action here on the National Racing Network. Practice just wrapping up for the Indy Pro 2000 Championship, coming to you live from the streets of Long Beach. My name is Chris Graham, joined in the booth by Mr. Ben Carswell and Mr. Patrick Byrne. What's going on, Bizzle? We just saw a great race out of the U.S. Open Wheel D-Class cars, the USF 2000s. Now the Indy Pros are coming out for qualifying. This one should be a pretty darn good show once again.
You had to spoil the next race for everybody. You could have just said there was a race. I mean, that would have left it up to interpretation. They could have thought, hey, this one could be great or it might be terrible, but they got to watch to find out. Now they know it's going to be a good one.
Yes, I'm good with there were no spoilers. Still hashtag no spoilers, but it was a good one. And Ben,
fantastic.
let's come to you here, because Long Beach is not your favorite place to drive, but it's always a great place to watch a race, though.
No, a lot like Jimmy Johnson. I'm not great here. I crash into stuff. But I have a great time doing it. But I heard there was an opening in the booth, so I wanted to come up here, watch the fast guys, because the guys in this series are so talented, and to see them wheel it around here is going to be really amazing. Like that.
Yeah. David Porcelli.
Whoever that was got sideways.
Yes, David Porcelli working his warm-up lap here. Let's bring up the side-by-side, because we'll have Porcelli and Carter Lundy up on the screen. Two guys we can expect to put in some pretty darn fast laps here. Taking a look, see if we have any official laps in the books yet. We do not. The other interesting one here, Patrick, a full field of 24 cars. No split. The SOF only 25-45 on this one. But that means we're going to have some wide speed differences, and in all likelihood, the leaders are going to hit lap traffic.
Not only that, this is essentially a multi-class race. You have your guys at the top who do nothing but this car. They're pros at it. They are the best of the best. And then this being only a C-class level car, you're going to have guys who are still relatively fresh, new to iRacing, maybe new to sim racing in general, and don't have much of a clue what they're doing yet. So it's going to be an exciting one, and that's for sure.
Yeah, taking a look at the broadcast championship standings heading into tonight's race. Ted Burns leading the Indy Pro 2000 championship by 25 markers over David Porcelli. Carter Lundy only 5 points back. Teddy B not in the show tonight. He's doing the real world racing thing down at Sebring. So the points battle is going to close up.
Is it going to get as close as that gap between Lundy and Porcelli?
Yeah, lap number
We're
1
hundredths of a second.
on the board. 1:14.547 the lap time for Lundy. 1:14.588 for Porcelli, Nicholas Daly, Mike Collar, Richard Holt rounding out the top 5. Great lap for Mike Collar there to come in 4th.
Collar's quick. It's just that there's also a million people in these top splits who are so quick. You really do see the gap between, like, hey, that guy's pretty quick, and oh my gosh, look at that guy. You really see that gap. It's not much, but it's enough that you notice it.
Mike Collar.
You can just
Go ahead.
You can just see it in the precision in how they drive the car. They put it in the same spot every single lap. A fast guy will lay down a fast lap here, there, maybe every lap, but they're hitting different marks every time. The best guys, same marks each and every lap. Every move is calculated, every move is precise. It's like watching Alain Prost versus watching Pastor Maldonado.
Ooh, Lundy goes faster.
Lundy goes faster. Porcelli goes quicker, but it's not enough. Going to be Lundy, Porcelli on the front row as of right now. Let's pick up Everett Paddock as he is finishing up his lap, and Nagisa Yoshikawa coming around to complete lap number 1 on his run.
Nicholas Daly jumps on the front row after Porcelli, too. Beat him by 0.02 of a second, so Porcelli started right behind Lundy. He's going to have that long straight to make a move up the inside.
Everett Paddock's lap 1 did not score. Lap number 2 for Paddock is 4th quick, 1:14.749. Still about 1/3 of a second back of the 3 cars ahead of him. See who else we have out here. Let's pick up Jason Paydu, car number 16. Also have Nagisa Yoshikawa still on the bottom right-hand corner of your screen as well. Yoshikawa's first lap, 9th quick, 1:15.426, a full second, 1.01 off the pole time of Carter Lundy. Down to 2 minutes and 40 seconds left in qualifying, and only about 3 cars left with laps to complete. Bobby Blowers will not get a lap in, neither will PJ Childs. Blowers could still get out on the grid, but it looks as of now like he will not get a lap in qualifications. Yoshikawa's second lap still going to be at 9th quick. Let's see, Everett Paddock still out on the racetrack, so we'll pick up Everett here. Well, we say that, and he is bringing his car to a stop. So we'll take a look at Jason Paydu as he's coming around to finish his qualification lap. And with that, it looks like qualifications are over. So Bobby Blowers deciding he will not take a lap time. PJ Childs, as we mentioned, took 2 attempts, but does not get a lap in the books. Cars are going to start to roll out to the grid for tonight's race. And we can give you the update here. We talk about it a little bit towards the end of the show because, well, you know, the USF 2000 race happens before this one that you're watching now. But whole lot of changes coming up on the National Racing Network. New graphics packages, new stats capabilities, all sorts of stuff to improve the quality of our iRacing broadcast for you fans. We are excited to roll them out, and starting next week, actually, with 4 races left, we will start our new content announcements for 2023 Season 2. I can't believe we're already talking about being halfway through 2023 in about 16 weeks or so, which is pretty ridiculous, but that's where we're going to be halfway through the season. We're going to have some Week 13 fun coming up here, too. The TNT After Dark Extravaganza special events, whatever we're calling them, there's going to be a whole lot of those going on as well. We'll tell you about that over the next couple of weeks. Let's take a look at the starting grid for tonight's race. Carter Lundy going to line up on the pole with a lap time of 1:14.415. just a 10th back will be Nicholas Daly outside of row 1. David Porcelli, Everett Paddock on row number 2. Richard Holt, Mike Collar on row 3. Row 4, going to see Frank Wynn lining up alongside Cody Hundley. Row 5 will have Nagisa Yoshikawa and Mobin Khan. Liam Loisel, Anthony Kernan on row 6. Row number 7, Rod Eskew, Steven C. Thompson. Row 8, Ryan Labarge, Richard Allen, Ryan Karshevsky, Tyler Stover on row 9. Row 10, Jason Paydu and Dustin Pendergast. Eric Cox, David Nogle on row 11. PJ Childs, Bobby Blowers on the 12th and final row here for tonight's race. Lundy bringing the field down very slowly. Now he jumps on the gas. Full field of PM18 screaming down towards turn number 1. Lundy tries to get out to the early advantage. Big dive up the inside by Porcelli.
Lundy protecting the inside. He knows he doesn't want anyone going up there. He's keeping it secure, and they're all making it through the fountain.
Yep, everybody clean thus far through the fountain area.
Sweet, I don't got to pay Rob or Michael $100 each. I told them pre-race, I'll give them $100 if they can manage to get 4 cars stuck in the fountain.
Still 20 laps to go on that there, bud.
No, I said it had to be lap 1. I clarified. I didn't want to pay.
I didn't want to pay.
I would have. You
That
guys
sounds
know I
about
would
right.
have. I didn't want to, though.
Oh, man, good battle between Daly and Porcelli through that 9-10 section. Porcelli getting a little antsy back there.
Porcelli's going to have a run down this straight. He took that much wider entry, narrow exit, got him the power. He's going to have to slipstream all the way up. I don't know if he's close enough to try it at turn 1. It's a tough braking zone, turn 1. You got to brake so early because it narrows up. It goes from a 5-lane road to 2 lanes with this horrible tire barrier that can catch you and kill the car.
Trouble on the racetrack. Let's bring up the side-by-side here. Let's take a look, see what happened. Mike Collar, Mobin Khan, Eric Cox, all having issues. May just having to be very slow. Yeah, that's all that one was a bit of slowness for the chicane.
If you get that hairpin line wrong, then you have to get it just right, or else you almost got to stand on the brakes and do a 3-point turn. It is so tight.
We'll bring up the side-by-side box here. Nagisa Yoshikawa running in the 9th position.
Squirming all over the place.
And this is what, Patrick, where you're really talking about 19 to go at Long Beach. This is a very long race. You almost just need to settle in and be patient. Let the tires come up to temperature, and then you can start thinking about getting racing.
Not only that, but Long Beach is an attrition track, so sometimes if you can't get by a guy, you just got to keep the pressure on him and wait for these magical white walls to do their magic.
Well, yeah, we heard David Porcelli talking about that before this last race, was that sometimes you just have to be close enough to kind of be in that guy's head in front of you, and Ben, you can probably speak to this because you're usually the guy who's doing the chasing as opposed to the guy who's out front. That can be an advantage sometimes where you're just kind of like, hey, I just have to be there and fill his mirrors up.
Yeah, I mean, it makes it significantly easier on you if you can just make this guy adjust his braking points, make him turn different, make him think he's got a cover for you. Because if he tries to cover for you, he's increasing the likelihood of a mistake. That's all you're trying to do, especially these tight tracks. You don't want to put your car on the line with 17 laps to go. I mean, that's just foolish. You've got to make them put their car on the line. And it takes a really smart racer to do that and do it properly.
Yeah, and that's something that even if you're Everett Paddock, you almost have to leave a little bit of a gap here behind David Porcelli, just because if one makes a mistake, odds are the guy right behind is going to get collected or at least have to take evasive action. You don't want to be right up his tail when that move has to happen.
No, you do not. There is, especially not if it's in the corner. When these cars are fully loaded with grip and there is no adjusting. They are going through the corner, and you better hope nothing gets in your way, because it can be a pain to try and catch these things. This might look like it's them driving in a line. It's anything but that in the car. They are, look how close they are to one another. They are right on there. Every braking point has to be perfect. Look at this in the lower right-hand corner. There's 7 cars in a line. One thing goes wrong at the hairpin, you're all done.
Yeah.
You're all done.
As someone who drives in New York traffic every single day on my way to work, driving in a line like that and just waiting for someone in the front to screw up is still unsettling after doing it for almost 7 years now.
Yeah, I mean, this is. I'm from Virginia. I'm used to country roads. You know, when we go to Barber, that's my speed. This is terrifying.
So many places to make a mistake, and it's not a big one. You're talking about missing, especially here where we see the leaders coming out of turn 7. Miss your braking point or your turn entry point by just a foot or two. Game over. You're in the tires, or you've looped the car around because your power's down too early on exit.
Yeah, and you have to get on the power so early through there. And again, not only is there no room to make a mistake, but you have to put yourself in the most dangerous position, which is right next to the wall, to maximize your speed through the corners. Holler got really loose out of the hairpin. You try to get that power down as quick as you can, and it's going to kick the back out of these cars. They don't have a lot of aero grip compared to some of the Indy cars or the F3 cars. They're light on aero grip, and they're heavy on power. How close they're getting to the wall. All it takes is one little kick, and boom, there goes your suspension. There goes your toe.
There's a comment from Ted Burns. He's watching. Crazy pace by the top 4, baiting everyone to push that little bit harder. That's really something that gets into the mental game of this, too, is if you're Everett, you're just hanging out there, but Porcelli knows he's got one of the best in these cars sitting right behind him. And then at the same time, he's got to try to push to get around Nicholas Daly. We're down to 15 to go, so already 5 complete laps in here. You really start to have to do a lot of mental gymnastics between defending, attacking, and planning when those moves could possibly come and anticipating when the guy behind you is going to make the move.
Yeah, it's tough. It's real tough.
There may not be the physical. There may not be the physical aspects to sim racing in some instances, but it is definitely true that the mental exhaustion comes into play. And if you're one of these guys with the crazy direct drive rims and everything else, you're going to get the physical aspect in some respects too.
Yeah, I mean, I know Carter Lundy was talking about he just set up his new rig, he cut his leg open, got stitches on it. This is his flu game. He's driving injured, and he's got that big direct drive wheel. He's a teenager. He doesn't have he's not big. He's a skinny little kid. I mean, like, this is exhausting.
Oh,
he's
hold on to it.
Out there pushing.
Wow, Cody Hundley with
Holler's
a big
under
save.
pressure. Holler's made a couple. The car is wiggling on him. He's loose. You can see the car in front of him pulling away. I don't have the lineup here to tell me exactly who that is. But I mean, look at the gap starting to develop there. Holler's under a lot of pressure. Oh, I wouldn't go around the outside there.
Oh, this is nuts. Into the hairpin now.
Wide into the hairpin. This is the what is that guy?
Oh, here comes Yoshikawa.
There.
All right, we got to flip these boxes over here. We got the great battle up here on the big screen.
Holler is trying to make that car as wide as possible.
You got to watch. The red line is out of
Whoa,
bounds.
A little bit of a shake.
Oh, man, there was a car
on
down
the inside.
buried on the fence, too. Good Lord, who was that?
Man.
May have been the car of Dustin Pendergast.
Frank is pulling away, and Hunley's got Hunley getting in front of Holler now. Yoshikawa sliding, trying to get by him. I wonder if Holler's heated up those rear tires enough. He just can't. He's just holding on for dear life while he's got 4 really fast drivers sitting right behind him.
Well, you can also overheat the rears a little bit too, and that will make the back end even twitchier than when it was, a little bit twitchy under throttle at corner exit. You get too much heat in them, and then the car really doesn't want to do anything.
So tight to that hairpin. I do not envy these drivers. I do not envy them at all. I wonder if that was Loisel? Noble? I don't know who that was. Is Yoshikawa going to go around the outside? No, he's not. Probably for the smart.
Ooh. Nagisa may have clipped the tire barriers just a hair.
Got real close to him if he didn't.
Top 4 nose to tail. We're going to flip them back to the big box here because they are catching lap traffic. How about this one? For the 5-lap average, let's see, what's 23 minus 6? 14, something like that? I don't know.
17.
17.
17. 17 1,000ths separating the 5-lap average of Carter Lundy, David Porcelli, Nicholas Daly, and Everett Paddock. And Lundy is the slowest of the lot.
And there's Daly and Porcelli, and there's Paddock. Everett's going to try to get through.
Oh, that's gutsy.
Daly just got too wide on that hairpin. I'm telling you, it kills all your time.
Well, other than it gives you great drive off the corner, though. That's the other part of it. Daly was able to pick the spot back up from Paddock at corner exit. But now Porcelli is on the hunt.
There's a little bit of space there. Porcelli can just catch up to the back of Lundy, let Daly and Paddock just kind of battle amongst themselves.
Oh, hold on to it. Wow, Mike Holler's sliding way out wide at turn 1. Holler giving up 9th to Anthony Kernan.
You sure you didn't promise anything else to Holler to make him put it in the fountain? Because he's trying. Oh.
Good Lord, that battle's settling down a little bit here, so we'll go back to the full screen on your race leaders.
Wow, Daly got real close to the jelly there. Oh, he was going to run into the back of him almost. And the thing is, like, for someone like me, who's an amateur who does this a lot, I look at that and I'm like, oh my God, you're going to hit him, But they're not. They know what they're doing.
It's interesting to watch
like me going, ah.
It's interesting to watch how they accordion up in places, though. Some guys drive it in a little deeper. Other guys back it off a little bit early for the corner exit speed. And that's something that we hear a lot of, Patrick, is you have to back this up. In iRacing, everything is about slow in, crazy fast off.
Oh yeah, you have to back it up and you get on the power as early as possible and try and get as big of a run out of the corner as you can. If you try and take it fast in, fast out, you either end up spun around or in a wall, and neither of those things are how you win a race.
Trouble on the racetrack for Jason Paydu. Let's take a look, see what happened here down towards turn number 1. One car coming out of pit lane, and Paydu just high sides it off into the tire barrier. That car comes to a stop, and he has to take the tow.
Paydu trying to adjust as we got another lap car who just wisely probably just slows down and goes, nope, I'm out.
Yeah, no mas. Don't want to get in the way of the leaders. That's where checking your relative is so important, because you see the leaders coming, but you don't necessarily see the rest of the train coming behind them. You kind of have to have pretty good situational awareness of it's not just the leader that's coming, but it could be 1, 2, 3, 4 that's going to follow him through.
Yeah, that's why if you're not anticipating 4 guys and you try to let one by perfectly in the corner, and then there's suddenly 3 other cars, it's not good.
I race in VR, and every car I hop into, immediately I hit the Alt-K, which allows you to move all of your boxes and everything on screen to where you want them. And I move them right under where the dashboard is, pretty much right where the middle of the steering wheel is. So at all times I can quickly just glance at that and know where the field is compared to me, whether I'm going to pass a bunch of cars I'm lapping, or if I'm running at a place like here with guys these good, looking at the guys that are about to lap me.
So good battle here for 7th, 8th, and 9th on the screen. We'll show you some of the others that we have as well. Stephen C. Thompson and Mobin Khan, they're battling for the 11th position. Also Richard Allen and Tyler Stover. They'll go side by side.
Oh! There goes a wreck!
Hard into the inside wall goes Richard Allen.
And luckily he's right by pit entry, so he can just jump in and get out. Yeah, it was too wide through the hairpin is not for the faint of heart.
It's not easy for the guys with 3, 4, 5,000 I rating. It's really hard for guys like me that have their I rating in the triple digits instead of the 4s, 5s, and 6,000s. And quite frankly, that's the difference, is these guys can control that and I can't.
Well, I will say, you notice Mobin Khan there is the 19 car surrounded by 12, 13, and 10. He's usually in the second split with me, and he's usually leading. He's usually winning. I don't think that I rating is quite reflective of speed there.
It's like, with our Sim Racers Club, we're running a winter series right now, and I've been racing with those guys, and our strength of field at Watkins Glen is about 1,000. The highest I rating guy in there was Johnny Avila with like a 1,300 road I rating. On the oval side, though, I think he's close to 6,000 at this point.
Johnny Avila is like 6,800 I rating on ovals. The dude is ridiculous. May have more trouble. Let's see what we get here.
If Johnny is watching this, I just want to remind him I did beat him at Watkins Glen. Love you, brother.
Oh, I think this is...
May just be a big slowdown for the hairpin. Yeah, that's what that one was.
Big slowdown, yeah. Like, see, he ran wide and had to try and just get it out of there. And
gosh, that's not where I want to catch lap traffic. I was just going to say, you do not want to catch lap traffic anywhere from basically turn 8 to the exit of the hairpin. Just lap traffic.
There's nothing he can do about it.
Get out of the way.
It's just, he did the best thing he could. He got off the racing line and just hit the place. There's nothing you can do. You just, you gotta get out of the way.
And you don't want to be in front of those guys either, because they're sitting right on your bumper, like waiting for the section to be over, and you're sitting there pushing harder than you're able to. You're pushing over your skill level, and that's when you end up crashing, and that's when you end up ruining a lot of people's days, because when you crash in that section, you wreck a bunch of race cars.
Yeah, and there's also the problem that these guys are probably taking different lines. They're probably braking later. They're probably turning in later, earlier. Everything is different. You can't predict it. It's really hard to try and facilitate these passes. And, you know, a lot of people in this series, they know these guys. They don't want to get in their way. And they kind of, you get in your head and you go, I got to get them by, I got to get them by. That's when you mess up.
Battle for the lead. Porcelli inside into 8. Slings the back end out. Nice pass, David Porcelli. I was just about to say the 10-lap average, David Porcelli about a half a tenth faster than Carter Lundy. But Lundy is going to be right there at the exit of 11, and he's going to have a monster toe.
Did you see how close Lundy was in that hairpin?
Lundy is hungry.
Oh, he's right on.
Oh, Porcelli's going to throw the Pruitt fade by Porcelli. There's 5 to go, and they're already starting the shenanigans.
These guys had contact in the 8 o'clock race, and we're back at it again in the Indy Pro 2000. And this time, live on air, we're going to see the battle.
Yeah, the 8 o'clock race was Carter Lundy making that inside move on David Porcelli at turn number 1. We were discussing whether Porcelli should have backed out of that one. The difference was that was on like lap 6. This is now down to 5 to go. I don't know that Porcelli can back out of it if Lundy makes that dive up the inside again. Oh, great comment from Teddy B coming in here. Get this one up on. Tire wear isn't a huge factor here, but as fuel burns off, the car will start to handle very different. Watch for mistakes the next couple laps. Yeah, these things will start to get a little twitchier. And quite frankly, Porcelli...
again! Side by side. Oh, he's just not close enough.
Lundy was smart and backed out of it, quite frankly.
He's got to get to the inside, I think. I don't know if he's going to have a big enough run to get to the outside of it.
Well, even if you are outside, it puts you in a bad spot. Porcelli is using what he learned in the 8 o'clock race, and he will not give Lundy a hole up the inside.
Yeah, Porcelli's smart. He's done this in real life. You know, there's a video somewhere of him crashing in Monaco on a rain-soaked track in a Formula Rhythm. This is not his first rodeo. He's done this for a while.
Now the question becomes, if you're Carter Lundy, when do you have to make the move? It's not like we saw at Spa where you would kind of say, hey, I don't want to be in this position, I do want to be in that position. You need to get ahead as quickly as possible here just because defending is so much easier.
Yeah, I don't think he's quite going to have it this corner here. I think he's going to be a little bit too... Whoa.
Oh, man. Porcelli commits to the inside. Ooh, almost got it into the wall as well. And quite frankly, this is something we've had discussions about in some of the Discord servers. Things you would not do in real life and you would be penalized for doing in real life are fair game in iRacing. Multiple moves you can get away with.
You can get away with it. I know I'm known as being the Bizzler and going for the Bizzle, but I always stick that one move. I will block this.
Oh, Porcelli goes around!
He kept it off the wall.
He didn't hit anything. How did Porcelli not wreck that car? Oh my goodness.
That's a Jimmy Johnson spin right there.
The Hot Shoe Racewear instant replay.
Porcelli has the experience. He stayed on the power, kept the car spinning, and just went in a circle.
It's this next corner here. Does he get on the power too early? I don't know what it is.
Oh man, we've got more stuff going on here too.
Oh, he hit the curbs.
Clipped the curbs, but we have got a lot going on here.
What a
Nicholas Daly, Carter Lundy. This is the right immediately following. Go back to the live look here. Nicholas Daly is your race leader over Carter Lundy and Everett Paddock. Porcelli sitting about 2.5 seconds back. He will not be a factor. Well, I say that now. He won't be a factor.
Yeah, we never know. if they keep battling, we're coming up to 1 to go, though. I mean, barring some sort of calamity.
Well, this is what Teddy B talked about in the comments. The fuel burns off, the car gets a little bit lighter in the back end, you start to see some mistakes. Could we see one more with 1 to go?
Yeah, we got awfully loose there. Lundy's going to go. This is it. This is last lap. He's going to make the move. All that backing out of the outside that he did, I don't know if he can do it this time.
Daly going to cover up the inside down into turn 1. Lundy's going to be right there through the fountain. Takes it a little bit wide. He's getting even closer. It's half a car length out of 4.
They are leaving Everett behind. Where did this come from? Oh, he's right on him. Daly hit those curbs. Daly hit those curves in the last corner. He's right on him.
Oh, man, Daly electing to cover the inside line. This is going to let Lundy have a shot up the outside.
Look, he's taking that wider entry. He's getting on the power earlier.
Oh, the block.
Huge block.
Lundy, he's inside, he's outside, he's everywhere. Daly going to try to hold him off through 8. Lundy's there into 9.
He's got the inside going into 11.
Daly has to run wide. Paddock's going to come through. Porcelli's right there as well. Twin checkers go in the air, and Carter Lundy gets the win at Long Beach. Nicholas Daly, Everett Paddock side by side for second. It goes to Daly.
That is 2 races in a row, and you all, ladies and gentlemen, will see the second one shortly. Holy crap, I love Long Beach.
Wow.
What a final 5 laps. Oh my gosh.
Absolute insanity. David Porcelli already out of the server. He's done and gone.
Man, I'd be upset. I understand he's upset. I get it. He had this. He was leading. He had the pace, and just you got to feel for Porcelli. I mean, that is still a good finish. If he's worried about the points, and I think he cares about the points right now.
Yeah, that's you're frustrated at this point if you're David Porcelli. It was there for the taking. But as we've seen so many times throughout the history of the Long Beach Grand Prix, the track will come out to bite you when it is absolutely least expected. Carter Lundy picking up the race win. We'll see if he's going to try to bury it in the fountain for us. One can only hope.
He's heading that way. He's heading that way. He hasn't stopped for a burnout yet. I wonder if he's going to turn 1 for the burnout. Bigger space.
I wonder if my memo got passed on.
Well, maybe. He's doing a lot of laps. This is his second cooldown lap.
No, he's going to turn into the grass here like he did
there he goes.
Let's go. Do we get anyone into the fountain?
It does not appear like we did.
Well, Lundy's got the spirit of it. He's cranking that wheel and he's moving.
There we go. Carter Lundy, your race winner. Man alive, what a show. Once again, put on by the stars and cars of the Indy Pro 2000 Championship.
Seems my memo did not get passed on. Nobody into the fountain. That's a shame.
What a move by Carter Lundy on that last lap, man. That is so impressive that he kept it, just kept the wheel in there. Just Daly had no choice. What could he do? I mean, to keep that car alongside is incredible. And that is... Oh. I'm glad I wasn't in the back of the field for that.
Stephen C. Thompson is still on the racetrack.
And
he is going for the fountain.
All right.
Let's go, Steven. Oh.
Oh, thank you, sir. We appreciate it. That's what we were looking for. Let's see. Got to get... let's see. There we go. Let's bring up our race winner. We'll start the victory lane interviews with the guy at the top picking up the checkered flag here tonight. Carter Lundy, you went into the final lap in second, chasing down David Porcelli for most of the race. This was, well, leading for a bunch, chasing down David Porcelli. There was a lot going on out there. The 4 of you guys really were tight together and running just absolutely insane pace.
Yeah, I mean, where do I start? Not much happened in that race. I'm joking. That was that was pretty crazy. Yeah, I was leading for a good half of the race, and I knew the slipstream was very strong. You can make the move from about 4 tenths back. Well, not necessarily make the move, but you could get alongside. So I just had that in my mind the whole race, and then when David passed me into the back stretch, I lifted a bit down the straight because he was very close, and I knew he would have probably got past at turn one. So I thought that I would get the toe and pass him back, but it just didn't quite work out. And then when he spun, I mean, I felt bad for him because we all really like racing with each other, but it was I mean, it was pretty helpful for it was pretty helpful for me. And then I mean, I didn't even get the lead out of it because Nicholas went through, and then it was a battle against him, and then that last lap was just insane. We got you, Chris.
I say, yeah,
I think we're obvious.
the whole sequence of after David's spin, things got really crazy. Everett was in the middle of it. Nicholas was there in the middle of it. You almost have to go like, okay, you just avoided one wreck, and then you're trying to not get in another one. You're already emotionally kind of on edge. Long Beach just does that to you. How do you process that? Like adding in all of those extra stimuli at once has to be kind of crazy going on inside the head.
Yeah, I mean that last lap alone, even Nicholas said his nerves were shooting through the roof, and me as well. It was very intense because, especially when you're battling, you're trying to pass the other car, you're trying to find a way through, and then you're trying to keep it out of the wall. You're trying to be on the limit. It's very intense, and it's a very enjoyable track to drive.
God, both of you guys were airborne out of turn 5, I guess it was. That was insane. Airborne and sliding around. God almighty.
Yeah, I've had a few passes and overtakes, and I've got overtaken a few times throughout the week, but it's mostly in the final sector down the back stretch and into turn one. But when we went side by side through the middle sector there, that was pretty crazy.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun to watch. And then obviously Everett's just hanging back there like, yeah, I'll let these two knuckleheads take care of themselves, and then I'll pick up the win. Hey, I tell you what, man, fantastic race. Great drive to pick up the win tonight here. Good points night, both in the broadcast standings and on the official side of things. But before we let you go, there you go, a little full Oppo lock out of 7. That's ballsy. Before we let you go here, get all those sponsor plugs and thank yous in.
Yeah, well, once again, thanks to you. Thanks to everybody in the box tonight. It looks like Ben and Jimmy are here as well. It was a great race. I'm excited to watch it back as usual. It's you guys put on a great show. You guys are great commentators, and yeah. So thanks to you guys. SimRacingCenter.com is the sponsor of the car. So if anybody watching wants to check that out, then go do so. And yeah, have a nice night, everybody. That was a great race.
Thank you, buddy. We appreciate it. Jimmy Nozzle Casserole joining us in the booth tonight. That's a story that I don't think will get told on the air, but yes, Jimmy Casserole. Let's bring up Nicholas Daly, our runner-up finisher here tonight. This one was a little bit crazy for you as well. You had the lead with 1 to go. So, excuse me. Talk us through that last lap, because Carter was absolutely hounding you from 11 all the way around until you got back to that final corner.
Yeah, man, he was all over me that last lap. That was an intense lap. Yeah, I had to defend pretty much every corner there, and when you're all the way over to the inside, your braking points are kind of it's difficult to know where to brake. So I usually went wide in on the exit of every corner. But man, yeah, so close.
All in all, it was a really good night for you, though. Both races you ran really well in. Obviously, not having Teddy B here tonight, carrying the colors for Downforce Racing, had to feel pretty good being up at the front, kind of feeling like that's where you belong.
Yeah, I was really happy with the pace I had. I could keep up with David and Craig up there. So yeah, it was a good race. It's so close to the win, but oh well.
Well, just watching the drag race with Everett here out of that final corner. Congratulations on picking up the runner-up finish here tonight. And before we let you go, get all those sponsor plugs and thank yous in for us.
Yeah, as always, huge shout out to Downforce Racing. And thank you guys for doing the broadcast, and thank you to all the viewers for watching.
All right, man. Well, thank you much. We appreciate you coming to check in with us and hang out for a minute here. And now, time to talk to this guy. We have spent a lot of nights talking to Everett Paddock, and glad we get to do it again here after this race at Long Beach. And I'll tell you what, Everett, the show you got to watch tonight was absolutely epic. Talk us through the night kind of from your perspective.
Yeah, it was eventful. I guess you could say that, right? I pooched qualifying, right? So I hit the wall in qualifying and I reset, so I only got one lap in. And that kind of put me on my back foot, and I just wasn't good enough to get up beside those guys, unfortunately. It's tough to get up there and do that, and kudos to those guys for putting on a good show. Got to slow down on the last lap and almost gave away my third place too, so it was not good.
Well, I was kind of wondering, was it a slowdown or was it you backing off and just letting the two knuckleheads in front of you take each other out? But it's tough for the slowdowns here at Long Beach. I don't know why they have them. You have solid objects to define track limits, but that's neither here nor there. It's how do you, over the course of this race, when you're watching, especially you see David have the incident that he had in front of you, you're kind of talking about having to process him being behind you, the leaders in front of you. There's a lot going on there in addition to just Long Beach being difficult to drive mentally.
Yeah, I'm not that smart, so I just focus on what's ahead of me, right? Like there's not much I can do except for try to look for those guys to make a mistake and be in a position to take advantage. The only time I backed off was when we caught lap traffic, right? I was like, this could be bad if we're all, all it takes is one guy to, to just jink one way and we're all done. So I backed off then. That was the only time I did that.
Well, good run tonight to third place. Glad we got to talk to you and hang out a little bit here again. And before we let you go, do all those sponsor plugs and thank yous.
Yeah, thanks for putting on the broadcast tonight. It was good to participate in both of them. Thanks to the TNT guys and the DRF guys, and shout out to Ted and Carl. I think Carl's in Sebring. I know Ted is, but shout out to those guys, and great job by Nick and Carter today. See you guys.
All right, bud. Well, thank you much. We appreciate you coming to hang out and check in with us here for a couple of minutes. And, man, with that, time for us to get ready to show you the U.S. Open Wheel D-Class race. But before we do that, Bizzle and Carswell in the booth with us. Ben, we'll come to you first here. We got kind of what we expected out of Long Beach. The heavy iron was at the top all night, and, man, did they put on a show for us.
Yeah, I mean, that might be one of the most exciting last lap finishes to a race I've seen, real or sim or anything. I mean, that was a joy to watch, and I am continually impressed by how fast these guys are. Carter, how did he hang that move around the outside? I don't know. I couldn't do it a million years if I tried. I mean, the top four, I know Everett being humble, talking about, I couldn't hang with him, but he was there the whole time.
Yeah.
He was there, and being there with those guys is an accomplishment. They are seriously quick, and he is too. So just wonderful show. Speaking of Everett, Everett's one of our community managers. I'm one of the USF community managers. If you're watching and you want to check out the new schedule for next season, the proposed schedule that we're going to send to iRacing for approval, head to the forums, see what you think. We're pretty excited about it. It's a pretty good schedule. Everett and I spent a few hours putting it together, doing lap counts, doing math, running laps. We think next season is going to be really fun.
Yes, we have seen the preview of it, and it looks fantastic. And thank you for bringing up the schedule, because we've only got 4 races left in this season, Bizzle. Next week, we head off to Barber, one of my favorite racetracks. I don't know why it doesn't get the participation numbers that we see other venues get, but Barber, Okayama, USA, and then Watkins Glen running the boot. 4 more good, fast racetracks for these 2 cars.
I can tell you why Barber doesn't get the participation you'd expect. I have owned Barber on iRacing since 2016. I've never once loaded that track up.
You're supposed to be part of the solution,
Yes, I was just going to say.
Nozzle is the problem.
Yes.
Well, that is true.
On that note,
alter ego.
we're just going to leave that right where it stands. Don't go anywhere, though. We are coming right back after the short commercial break with the U.S. Open Wheel D-Class race coming up from Long Beach here. You like this one? You don't want to miss that one. It was a barn burner. We'll see you and talk to you all in just a minute here. Enjoy the show.
I don't know why you're so sad. You've got a roof over your head.
Bro, you gotta stop with that depression stuff. That's a white people thing.
Escúchame, en esta casa los hombres no lloran.
You alright? It just feels like it's coming from everywhere.
Do you want to talk about it?
Thanks for hearing me out, bro. Appreciate it.
You can talk to me if you're feeling sad.
Whenever you need to talk, I'm here, okay?
I'm Ryan Newman, and since I started with Indiana Donor Network and Driven to Save Lives, I found out that some people think that they can't be an organ donor. The truth is, anyone can sign up to be an organ donor. Anyone?
Anyone?
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm sure. Anyone can sign up to be an organ donor. So don't count yourself out because somebody's counting on you. Go to driventosavelives.org and sign up today.
But my heart's going to you, Ryan.
Love that shirt.
Welcome back, everybody, to the National Racing Network's live coverage of the, gosh, I forget what we're talking about. U.S. Open Wheel D. That's what we're talking about. Once again, my name is Chris Graham with the National Racing Network, joined in the booth by Mr. Patrick Byrne. James Watson also on the commentary for us over the course of the evening. Not here for the USF race, but we'll have Bizzle in the booth with us for this one. Heading at, well, we're still at Long Beach, I guess, since this is coming up after the PM18 race. But I'll tell you what, Patrick, qualifying already underway for this one. Long Beach, we can kind of expect some craziness. 40-plus cars, 15 in this split. That means the field is going to be pretty darn strong in this one. In fact, 34.02 is what the SOF is heading into this one.
Yeah, I've never seen a strength field that high in a road course race. I'm not saying they don't exist. I'm just saying mine's not high enough to get into those. It's going to be an absolute heater tonight. Long Beach always puts on fantastic racing. There are so many passing opportunities this track because you have long straightaways just like this Lakeshore Boulevard, I think it's called. I think I'm butchering that. But you go down here, you're hitting 120, 130 miles an hour in these cars, and then hard on the brakes. These things stop so quickly. You're braking at that one marker. And as we saw in the 8 o'clock race, we were just tuning in and watching. It's very easy to blow your brake marker and slide up into a guy if someone's to the outside of you. So it's pretty fun tonight.
Yeah, I think that's one of the big things that we have to consider is that there are, let's just say there's plenty of ways to screw up Long Beach. And quite frankly, that's a big deal because you mentioned the turn 1 braking zone. You head into turn 8, I guess it is, down the back straightaway. There's a lot of places to screw up Long Beach, and there's not a lot of places to pass. Kind of makes things a little bit crazy from that perspective where you really have to be on your P's and Q's all night.
Yeah, I got my first ever road course win, official series road course win on iRacing in the Porsche Cup a handful of years ago, and it's not because I was very talented. It's just I was the only one that was up there towards the front that kept it out of the wall. That is the big thing here.
Yeah.
This is a race of attrition. This track puts on fantastic racing, but most of the time it does come down to attrition. These walls are so tight, and they're right on the racing line. You have to get the car right up next to them. You're not going to be on your ass.
We'll pull up the timing tower here so you can see where your favorite is running. Carter Lundy going to be the first one to get a lap in the books. 1 minute 19.684. About almost 4/10 up over Nicholas Daly, Brian Labarge. Now we're getting some other names in here. Everett Paddock clocking in third quick. Mike Collar, Brian Labarge, the top 5 as we continue to follow Lundy. And let's see, who else do we want to take a look at here? We'll find David Porcelli, who was also out on the racetrack. Oh, big into the tire walls for Lundy. That's going to Ixnay, lap number 2.
Well, and just like that, you saw, actually, just both of these laps, you saw, I don't know who this is, but they were sliding coming in there.
Yeah, this one's Nicholas Daly. And again, no surprise, Nicholas Daly having a little bit of an issue here. It's so easy to get the car squirrely, especially when you don't have a ton of time to get the brakes fired up.
And that's how you have to drive these street circuits in the open wheel cars. Brings me back, I'm thinking of Juan Pablo's lap in 2000 at Belle Isle, where you can see the sparks, see where he taps the wall with the rear wing when he set the track record there some 23 years ago. You have to be on it. You have to get to the power early. Sliding the car in a street circuit is not necessarily as bad as it is for some of the more traditional road courses. You really need to get every ounce of the track that you can out of it.
Richard Holt with another fantastic throwback F1 scheme. I'm actually enjoying the stuff we're seeing on his car every week. Oh, but he gets it into the fence too. Lap number 2 for Richard Holt will be a no-fly. Let's pick up Jaspreet Gill, a new name for us here on the weekly broadcast. Taking a look at the broadcast championship point standings as David Porcelli is going to come out of the hairpin at turn 11 and come across the line to complete his second qualification lap. Carter Lundy leading by 22 points over the MIA Ted Burns. He's actually down in Sebring doing some real-world car wrenching this week. No Teddy B means this point gap is going to open up big for Carter Lundy. Let's see who else is out here. Mike Collar's still on the racetrack. We'll pick him up. And let's see, we'll also grab a hold of Christopher Glenn as he's working his way around the backside of the race course.
It's no surprise to see some new names here, just because, just like the Nürburgring, Lime Rock has its own group of junkies that every time they see cars at Lime Rock, they go out, they buy the car, and they're just naturally good at it. And
it's also applicable to Long Beach.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, is Long Beach, Nürburgring, tracks like this have a cult following behind them.
This is, yeah, I say this is Long Beach, not Lime Rock. Just making sure we're on the same page here, buddy.
Oh, I'm wearing my Lime Rock shirt. I love that track. I was just talking about it today.
We're good at what we do.
For the broadcast, it's my favorite track. If you've never been to Lime Rock or Long Beach, you should go to both these tracks. I've never been to Long Beach. I've heard it's fantastic. I can tell you for a fact Lime Rock is fantastic.
Taking a look here, Jason Paydu has not turned a lap yet, so that's why we have not kind of skipped out of qualifying, but down to 60 seconds left. Looks like Carter Lundy will be your pole sitter here tonight. Long Beach, one of those places, we talked about it a little bit. It's tight. It's very twisty, but it is a classic of American motorsports. And kind of, quite frankly, I'm going to say unique in the world of street courses. Long Beach has been going since the 70s. Toronto since, gosh, I want to say the mid-80s, I guess, was the first race in Toronto. Outside of that, not many street circuits have the kind of long, epic history that Long Beach does. Formula One race there. Actually, the first race was an F5000 race, followed up the next year by Formula One for a handful of years. Obviously, the glory days of kart running Long Beach. And quite frankly, we didn't even think of this, Patrick. We should have done something to pre-record for this. The Toyota Celebrity Long Beach race can come back now that we have the Toyota GR86 on the iRacing platform.
That's right. I should have ran an AI race, put a bunch of fake names in there.
That would have been hilarious. We will remember that for next season. We will come up with a list of celebrities and washed up pros. Looking at you, Paul Tracy, that we'll put on in the Toyota GR86s and see what kind of hell and carnage they cause here at Long Beach.
I just got a terrible idea. We do a weekly 3-lap shootout at whatever track we're running at, AI with all sorts of fake names.
You know what? That's the filler content we might need for next season, because we got to figure out for next season which race is going to come first. We'll get to that one in a minute here, but with the time change, it actually might make more sense to show everything live. We'll get there. Let's take a look at the starting grid for this one as we get ready to roll off. Still waiting on a couple of cars to get out onto the grid. Carter Lundy, Everett Paddock going to occupy the front row for tonight's race. They will line up directly ahead of Nicholas Daly and David Porcelli, who will be on row number 2. Richard Holt, Nagisa Yoshikawa on the third row. Row 4 will have Mike Collar and Patrick Brouillette out of Canada. Patrick Brouillet? No, Roulette. Brian Labarge, Jaspreet Gill on row 5. Row 6 is going to have Stephen C. Thompson and Indy Cassie. Row number 7, Christopher Glenn and Rod Eskew. And on row number 9, all alone, will be Jason Paydu. So 15 cars, Paydu electing to not take a time in qualifications. Just waiting. Oh, good.
I had to Google Brouillette, and it's pronounced Brouillette.
Well, there you go.
Sebastian, when you meet him, he would have known that right off the tip of his tongue.
I was going to make a surrender joke there about the French, but we'll lay off them. Oh, man, they're almost wadding things up here right at the start. Carter Lundy trying to get some heat in those rear tires. Turn 1.
Not a long base lap here. You got to get heat in them fast.
Yes, because turn 1 is going to be ridiculous. Field making their way out of the final corner. Pace car will make that hard right-hand turn. As always, race fans, the start of this one going to be all yours. Almost contact down the front straightaway. Is everybody going to get through turn 1 cleanly? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 looks good so far. Not seeing any red showing up in timing and scoring. Looks like everybody cleanly through the first couple of corners. Carter Lundy able to jump out to a decent-sized lead here already, 1 second ahead of David Porcelli. These guys went at it in the 8 o'clock race. In fact, contact at turn number 1 late in that race, about a midway point of the race, saw David Porcelli go spinning. The USFs, though, these guys are going to behave a little bit differently, Patrick, because this is a place where being down on horsepower actually does make a huge difference, just in terms of how quickly you can get accelerated off the corners.
Not only that, but it forces you to push a lot harder, and instead of just powering out of every corner, slamming the brakes over into it, slamming the gas down, you really have to keep your momentum up. You kind of have to roll the corner a little more. You can't make as crazy a move. These two cars might be on the same chassis, they might both have motors, but it's two different tracks between the two cars.
Yeah, get the battle up here on the screen as well between Indy Cassie and Jaspreet Gill for the battle for 8th and 9th. It's actually going to be like 8, 9, 10, 11, all kind of nose to tail. Big wiggle there for Gill out of turn number 3. Porcelli opening the gap a little bit here on 3rd place. Everett Paddock making a little bit of gain here on Carter Lundy, but the big one at this point is they're going to have to really work hard to get caught up to Carter Lundy and maybe even hope for a mistake.
Yeah, he's already pulling away pretty hard, so maybe lap traffic might have to spice this up, but only being an 11 or 12 lap race, not sure you're going to see lap traffic with this kind of strength of field for this one.
We'll bring the side-by-side box back up for you here and show you an incident for Christopher Glenn out on the racetrack. Oh, just big time nosed into the tire barriers. That will be race over for the Glenn machine. Let's take a look. Let's go on board here with David Porcelli. We'll bring you this one up in the side-by-side. This is one of those spots that is so incredibly tricky. Turn 6, the way it kind of kicks you out and then you're up the hill, it is so easy to get the car loose there. Turn 7, easy to bin it in. There's a lot of places to screw this place up bad.
I have one memorable one in the Camel GT series. I was running the Audi GTO, going through turn 6. I start to get a little loose. All-wheel drive, it's all good. You'll power out of it. Slam the gas back down and immediately bin it into 2 of the GTP leaders going.
That sounds about right. Noticing the wheel spin out of Carter Lundy there, out of turn number 11. That's another one. Easy to do and hard to control.
Yeah, and now that these cars, they were updated a season or 2 ago with a limited slip differential, so it makes the slides a little bit more fun because the car will actually hold the slide for a little bit. I still prefer the open diff to the power cars because you just spin the inside wheel, you power out of it, spin the inside wheel, let off, and the thing straightens right back up and you go.
Let's see here. Pull up. Looks like trouble for Rod Eskew out on the racetrack. Let's see what happened to the Eskew machine. Straight off at turn 8. One of those spots that we talked about. Easy to screw up. Also trouble for Mike Holler as well. Let's see what happened to Holler here. He had a pretty big issue having to take the toe. Oh man, same deal. Just straight side on into the tire wall at turn number 1. Mike Holler able to get back into the race after 2 minutes and 7 seconds on pit lane. So as we're approaching halfway home here in this one, already halfway home. Carter Lundy opening the gap up. It's up to 1.4 seconds over David Porcelli, Everett Paddock, and Nicholas Daly that all run nose to tail. Take a look and we'll find, let's see. See who else we got close here. Nagisio Shikawa, Richard Holt are nose to tail. They're running right back behind the leaders, and they are the only battles right now on the racetrack. So let's see, we'll pull them up in the side-by-side box here, get you a look at the fights we have on the racetrack. Looks like more trouble for Jason Paydu. out on the speedway. Let's take a look here, see what happened to Paydu down Shoreline Drive, the front straightaway here at Long Beach. Oh, a little loop-de-loop in turn number 1.
You can't park there. Well, I mean, I guess if you turn the hazards on, you are in Long Beach, so you can park wherever you want.
Yeah, I was just going to say, that these downtown street circuits, that's one of the hassles, is you got to bring the forklift out to remove some of the abandoned cars off the side of the roads.
That is actually how my Lincoln got a hole through not only the driver door, but the passenger door. Not happy about that one.
We had when I was in the volunteer fire service, we had a car parked in front of a fire hydrant, and we pull up on scene, and it was time to hit the hydrant. Got to go, well, through the driver's window, out the passenger's window, and hose was hooked up right through that car for about 5 or 6 hours. Owner was not happy with the citation that came with it.
That's a double whammy.
Yeah.
Triple whammy, because the car gets soaked on the interior too when you do that too, right?
No, that one actually wasn't too bad. It was just a lot of glass for them to clean up.
I'd still call it a triple whammy.
So now past halfway, oh, how about it? Richard Holt thought about making the move on to Gisi Yoshikawa. Oh, Carter Lundy with a mistake. Big mistake out of Carter Lundy. The gap closed in. David Porcelli is going to take the race lead. Let's see if we can see what happened here to Carter Lundy on the Hot Shoe Racewear instant replay. Just overcooked it at turn number 1.
Saved the car, though. He went right for that access road and got it turned around safely, and he's still in the fight. So didn't hit anything. I don't want to say no harm, no foul, but the car is still drivable, and he's still fighting for the lead. So
yeah, it closed everybody back up, and now the combatants from the 8 o'clock race are in these similar positions. Now, the cars are different, obviously. Indy Pros versus USF 2000s, and that will make a difference. But back in Lundy's shoes now, you kind of have to center yourself, get that incident out of your head, and then eventually get yourself ready to make the move.
And he's a very young driver, but I think he's already gotten the skill of just moving on. Because he runs races all day long, kind of like our friend James Watson. So I think he's got it down. I think he's going to be able to make the move, and he's going to do it safely. That being said, Porcelli is a very experienced guy who almost smashed the wall.
Yeah, I was going to say, Porcelli with the big wiggle that time. Inside of 5, call it 3.5 laps to go here in the USF 2000 feature event at Long Beach. Actually, I can't believe this is week number 8 already. Coming up next week, we will have the first of what are now 4 big announcements coming on new content coming to the National Racing Network for 2023 Season 2. I am excited. We've been putting it's going to be fun. We put a lot of work into things. If you're actually, we can do one announcement tonight. The look and feel is going to be very different coming up for Season 2. And actually, you'll see it debut in a couple of weeks for the Sim Racers Club when they return. Lundy having to look up the inside, not close enough. If you were a fan, if you are old enough to remember TNN Motorsports from the late 1990s, you are going to love the look and feel of the NRN broadcast coming up here. Also going to have, we now have the ability to do league-specific, series-specific, you name it, graphics, and a lot of data analysis tools that we have developed in-house. We're going to be able to really get neck deep into analyzing driver performance, even down to things like doing our own calculations of pit strategies, fuel windows, tire windows, not all of that is going to be ready right away, but really going to be game-changing in terms of how esports events are presented. I am really, really excited for how some of this stuff is going to turn out. I tell you what, I'm just as excited for the finish of this one. 2 to go, top 4 all within a second and a half of each other down Shoreline Drive.
That's it. It's Shoreline Drive. I've been trying to remember the name all race instead of just going on Google Maps.
I've only said
called it Lakeshore
like
Boulevard.
4 times. No, Lakeshore's the other one.
The backstretch, yeah.
The backstretch. I don't want to ish ill will on anybody, but I would love to see a car beached in the fountain at some point tonight.
That would make my day.
Last time we were here for the Ezra IndyCar series, they about pulled it off. Got one all the way up onto the flower beds.
My favorite thing in the old Forza Motorsports scene, I say old, like the Forza 6 when they had Long Beach, the AI would get beached there, except unlike iRacing, they wouldn't reset the car, so the entire duration of the race, you just have a car beached there. And by the end of the race, since the AI were so dumb, you'd have 3 or 4 cars just beached there. It was comical.
White flag will fly this time by. Lundy giving up a little bit at the exit of turn number 11. Porcelli's going to try the dragon move down the front straightaway. Now, I am of the opinion that should be your one move. You cannot defend past that. Once you make the move, like we see Porcelli make here, covering the inside lane a little bit. Oh, man, Lundy's going to be right there, out of the fountain.
I say the move comes in the straightaway between turn 6 and 7.
Yeah, I don't know that you've really got to be gutsy to try it out of turn 5 on this short blast down to 6.
This next straightaway here, I think in the 7 is going to be the move. I don't know if I'd make it there, though, because then you sacrifice Lakeshore.
Yeah, no, you want to make the move into 8. Get yourself up, right up underneath. There it is. Lundy is going to be right there, and he's going to have a shot. Porcelli covers the inside lane. Lundy, outside dive. Not going to be there. Slides it through 8.
Oh, man.
Oh, what a fantastic battle between David Porcelli and Carter Lundy. Porcelli's wide. Lundy's inside. They're going to drag race down to the start-finish line. Who's it going to be? Twin checkers in the air. David Porcelli will claim the win at Long Beach. Wow, got away with one out of turn number 11. Lundy was there and had nosed ahead.
You can't make a move there. You can't try it. And they managed to live.
Yeah, not only did they try it, but they pulled it off, both of them.
Lundy goes and beaches it. Porcelli goes and beaches it. Hell yeah.
Oh, there we go. We've got Yoshikawa in the flowers. Now, these guys can't hear us. That's the best part. That was entirely unplanned by our driver friends here. There you go.
Same idea.
I was just going to say, there's your race winner. Hold up. Let's clear this out. That is too good not to have up on screen.
He's still burning him up.
That's beautiful. Oh, there you go. There's Cassie giving him a shot to get him out of the... Oh, there you go. Oh, he was beached. That's what the issue was. Very nice, Cassie. Thank you much. Appreciate you getting the winner unstuck. Now let's take a look while he's burning them down. Let's take a look at your race results. David Porcelli, the winner by a quarter of a second over Carter Lundy, Everett Paddock, Nicholas Daly, Nagisa Yoshikawa rounding out the top 5. 6 through 10 going to be Richard Holt, Indy Cassie, Patrick Brulette, Stephen C. Thompson, and Jaspreet Gill. Brian Labarge, Jason Paydu finishing on the lead lap. Mike Holler, Rod Eskew 1 lap in arrears. Christopher Glenn rounds out the field at 10 laps behind your race winner. Race that took about 16 minutes to complete. All in all, not bad. Let's see if we have anybody who wants to talk to us. Let's see. Well, we have Everett Paddock here. Let's do this. Let me shoot the message out here. Oh, there he is. Let's bring in our third place finisher here tonight, Mr. Everett Paddock. All in all, not a bad night, not a bad run. Got to see some excitingness in front of you, but I'll tell you what, Everett, kind of one of those deals that you get what you get at Long Beach sometimes, especially in these cars that are a little bit underpowered.
Yeah, I didn't have much for him. I just couldn't quite. I don't quite have the handle of this car, but I enjoyed it Long Beach, so I thought I'd try to make some competition of it.
Well, yeah, we're not used to seeing you in this car. It's kind of, we're used to seeing you obviously for the Indy Pro races, but what do you think is what attracts you? What brings you to this car in this race? Is it wanting more laps at Long Beach? I mean, obviously you've got a ton of laps here, so just something to do before the SOF race?
Yeah, honestly, there's some things that keep you sharp for the Indy Pro in this, right? The one thing, backing up your entries and getting on the gas early is what makes you fast here. That helps in Indy Pro. But I am going to need some practice to relearn some stuff.
Well, I tell you what, we're looking forward. Hopefully we get to see you for more of these. And before we let you go, make sure you take care of all the sponsor plugs and thank yous.
Yeah, thanks to my TNT teammates and my DRF buds as well. Appreciate all the help this week. Thanks, everyone.
All right, buddy. Thank you, Ever. Hopefully we're talking to you again shortly here. Let's bring in our runner-up finisher tonight, Mr. Carter Lundy. I tell you what, man, you were running away with this one, probably kicking yourself a little bit over the mistake at turn number 1, but you put on a hell of a show with David late in this race. Talk us through kind of the mistake, recovering from it, and then the finish.
Well, yeah, I was pulling a nice gap. David did a 20.1 in quali, which was actually a half a second quicker than me, or sorry, a half a second slower than me. So I was feeling comfortable pulling away, but I made that mistake at turn 1, and I didn't lock up instantly. It was just I could tell I broke too late. So if I turned in, I knew I was gonna lock up. So I just had to keep the wheel straight, just to keep it out of the wall. But then at the end, once David got ahead of me, he was just like so fast. I don't know where his pace came from. I mean, he was just so fast at the end. It was so difficult to keep with him. And then on the last lap, I had a crack. I had a crack into the final corner, but it just didn't work out. He had a better traction on the outside.
Well, I tell you what, we were joking about the fact that nobody attempts that move into turn 11 just because it doesn't work for anybody. You guys both managed to make it work. A little bit of redemption after what we saw in the 8 o'clock Indy Pro race. That's got to be, it's got to feel pretty good to know that you guys just can still have that trust in each other even after having a little bit of contact just an hour before.
Yeah. Well, I think I mean after both contacts in Spa and the one we just had, I just apologize, move on. But we've had some awesome racing this season, and we have some great trust between each other. So it would be a shame to jeopardize that. And it was just mistakes happen. I made a little mistake before this race, and we just moved on. And then I was just making sure I wouldn't do it again, and that we could have a clean battle this race, and we did. So we'll just keep moving forward.
Well, I'll tell you what, the gap is going to, I think, increase slightly, only because Teddy B is not here tonight. So in the broadcast championship standings, David's going to gain a little bit, but you're going to increase the gap on second. So got to be feeling pretty good here as we get down to 3 or 4, I guess 4 races left after tonight.
Yeah, nothing's. I mean, it's not over till it's over. But I have a nice lead in the USF right now. But we we have a good opportunity tonight to take some points off of Ted because he has a big big lead in the Indy Pro.
Yeah, buddy. All right, man. Well, we'll see you here in just a little bit. And before we let you go, get all those sponsor plugs and thank yous in.
Once again, thanks to you guys for providing the broadcast. It's always great. I'm gonna watch it back after, as always. Thanks to Sim Racing Center, simracingcenter.com. Anybody watching should go check it out. And yeah, that's it. I'm gonna go get some laps in for the Indy Pro.
All right, buddy.
Or we've already done the Indy Pro actually.
Well, yes, I was gonna say, yeah, it's whatever. We'll figure it out. All right, buddy. Thank you much for checking in with us. Let's bring in our race winner today, the guy who I would imagine probably didn't think he was going to be race winner at about the halfway point, but David Porcelli picking up the victory here. Congratulations, man. Nice win.
Yeah, thanks very much, Chris. Yeah, Carter has always outshined me in qualifying in the D-class car. I've been able to get up to him in the races, and today, once he cleared that draft range on the first lap, I didn't think I would be able to run him down. What I did think I would be able to do is at least match his pace and have him a little bit anxious to maybe make a mistake and be able to reel him back in, and it looks like it worked.
Yeah, that's putting it mildly. Now, we just saw on the super slow-mo the battle out of turn 11. You were a little bit wide into the corner after doing a phenomenal job of taking away the passing lanes down Shoreline, down Lakeshore. Kind of everywhere you went on that last lap was to take away the opportunity. Then in turn 11, you make what I'm going to call a little bit of a mistake running wide. Ultimately able to hold him off, but you had to be a little bit nervous there when you heard the spotter going inside into that hairpin.
It's exactly what my mind was doing. I heard inside and I thought, okay, like if he puts his car there, I need to make sure that like even if he does get alongside me, I'm gonna get the exit. So I used a little bit of my endurance racing mind state there and just left the cars with just in case. Yeah, so it wasn't an error. It was 100% intentional to leave that with there because I'm tired of crashing out under other people's miscalculations. So yeah, time to bring this one home.
It's interesting that you say that because that's something that it will be directly applicable to the Indy Pro race coming up here. The problem is usually we see the issues at turn 1, lap 1. How do you get yourself prepared for that? I mean, there's no warm-up lap to get any heat in the tires. There's a lot that goes on in that lap 1. How do you mentally prep for that?
You really just got to go out there and drive that corner as fast and safely as you possibly can and have faith in the gentlemen around you. And that's why I love this series, both Carter and Ted and Everett, and you know, even guys who aren't with us anymore like Graham and John. They all respect each other's space, and so I'm not really worried heading into turn 1. Maybe I should be, but yeah, I'm feeling quite comfortable in the series and looking forward to the battle ahead.
All right, buddy. Well, we'll let you go get ready for that one. Thank you, by the way, for trying to bury it in the fountain. We appreciate that post-race. The visual was awesome. Congratulations on the win. And before we let you go here, get all those sponsor plugs and thank yous in.
Yeah, my pleasure, Chris. Shout out to Team Watson Racing, Satellite Racing, Racecraft 1 Indianapolis. Hi to the family. Thanks to National Racing Network for an awesome double broadcast every week. I hope to be talking to you in about an hour's time. Thanks so much, guys.
Did you pre-write that as a script? Like,
I was
I'm
just
going to
say,
race. I've got the script right here.
He's got the index card on the side of the sim rig, just like the cup drivers do. They now have to keep it used to be the PR guy would hand it to him. Now they keep it inside the car. That's beautiful.
I did used to have a little note card, but I decided to have it tattooed on the inside of my eyelids. That way it's a little bit quicker.
That's awesome. Picking up speed everywhere he can. All right, baby. That's your race winner, David Porcelli. Good Lord. That was awesome. With that, though, I think it might be time for us to get the heck on out of here. This was quite frankly, just a great show tonight. USF 2000's putting on a show. US Open Wheel C is going to be good. Yeah, we got to get ready for that one, too.
That you guys have already seen.
That is correct. So congratulations to the winner in Indy Pro. David Porcelli picking up the win here in USF 2000. Coming up next week, it is our final calm week-ish of the season. Tuesday night, it will be the TNT Shock Series coming back. Thursday night, we're back for the doubleheader. In 2 weeks' time, Tuesday night, TNT Shock. Wednesday night, Sim Racers Club. Thursday night, doubleheader. And a whole lot more coming up the closer we get to 2023 Season 2. With that, time for us to get the heck on out of here. For James Watson, Patrick Byrne, and everybody here at the National Racing Network that makes these shows happen, my name is Chris Graham. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. We will talk to you all soon. Have a great night, everybody.